Hello everyone, my name is Dean, Let's Talk Crypto. This is where you subscribe for daily Bitcoin updates and technical analysis. We track the price of Bitcoin as a proxy for the cryptocurrency markets at large. Today is May 21st, 2025, and Bitcoin is doing exactly what we thought it would, more or less, okay? I'm going to talk about what Bitcoin's doing in the immediate short term, what I expect, when I expect it. I'm going to also talk about altcoins and why I'm expecting a big weekend for altcoins. So if all of that sounds interesting to you, then watch until the very end. Hope everyone's having a great day. Let's get started with Bitcoin on the 4-hourly time frame as per usual. All right, so my general thesis on this channel has not changed. I will make an update to my analysis. I did make a mistake here because I thought that this was the end of this trend, but it wasn't. This clearly wasn't the end. With this move now, this is clearly established as a wave 4 or penultimate consolidation or reaccumulation before the final capitulative move impulsively, right? Basically the final intra-wave consolidation before the last leg up, okay? That's another way to put it. In any case, the general thesis on the channel is quite simple, quite straightforward. Bitcoin is in a 180 plus day channel. The top of the channel is resistance. If we're bullish on Bitcoin, what we want to see is a retracement down to the middle of the channel and then a move up and out of the middle of the channel, because you don't break a channel from the top. You don't break a channel from the bottom. You break a channel from the midline, okay? And I speak so confidently on this as someone who looks at charts 18 hours a day, who's been doing this for years, who on every time frame has seen this play out. I have no doubt in my mind that channels I've never ever seen a channel break from the bottom or break from the top. It always breaks from the midline. So if you're bullish on Bitcoin, the most bullish thing ever is a move down to around 91, 92, right? Or 90 even. And then a gathering of that and up and out of the channel. That's the bullish scenario. That's a best case scenario. Either way you slice it, even if I'm wrong, we dump here. Even if I'm wrong, again, I repeat that. Bullish or bearish, this is rejection. This is what's the word? This is resistance. Bullish or bearish on Bitcoin, this is resistance. Like I said, I don't know why, you could be calling for Bitcoin to break out like this, because this never happens. And it's not very serious to call for that, given the price action on the higher time frame. The other thing I'll say is this. Look, if I were to give any serious analyst or a group of analysts this price action, I didn't tell them what the asset was, I didn't tell them what the time frame was, I just cut this out right here and I said, look at this, right? We got a falling wedge here, the breakout happened, should I or should I not take profit? Any serious, seasoned, experienced analysts would say, yeah, take profit. Obviously, the falling wedge, the target is the top of the wedge. That's where we take profit. Then you expect a retracement, a support level, and then you can go in again, okay? But this is pretty simple. A lot of ways looking at it. This is it right here, the top of the wedge, and it doesn't really matter nominally if you make all-time highs. That's just a number. Look at price action, not necessarily price. If based off of the exchange you're looking at, if 108,000 was the all-time high previously, and we go to 108,001, guess what? That's a new all-time high. It's not really reason to throw a party, right? What you want is the price action that shows you're leaving a certain range and headed towards price discovery, right? That's what's interesting. That's what's exciting, not necessarily playing at resistance, which we're doing right now. So what do I expect and when do I expect it? So my mistake in reading this price action was prematurely judging this as the top and saying, we're done here. This is clear at this point that this trend right here was in its final consolidation, interwave consolidation, i.e. wave 4, and then had one more leg up, okay? And now what I'm expecting is the pivot. So the pivot I was saying that we were in right here, I don't think so anymore. I think that pivot is coming. And so I'm expecting that last bit of corrective price action before this entire 180 plus day range is finished. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, I'm referring to Elliot wave AB basing theory. It is a lesser known theory of corrective price action in Elliott wave theory. When you talk about Elliott wave theory, everybody always talks about 5 waves up, 3 waves down. But Ralph Nelson Elliott also expounded a theory on corrective price action, which I think is even more useful or just as useful as the impulsive price action theory that he gave us. So here you have 2 pairs of AB basing. So this is my first, this is my second. And basically the idea is every consolidation has to come in 3 pairs. 3 principal pairs of corrective patterns, and then it's finished, right? So we looked at it in terms of Wyckoff. We can look at it also in terms of Elliott wave theory. So I've got my first one here. This is my first one, right? My first break of structure, first retest. Second break of structure, second retest, finished here, I believe, right here. And then I have my pivot, my small a, my small b. I think that's coming, and I think that finishes early next week. Okay, so at this point in Bitcoin's sort of price action, I'm seeing a small a, small b forming, meaning I'm seeing a rejection, an initial break of structure, right, for this move. Okay, so this trend that took Bitcoin from the mid 70s all the way to 108, 109, right? This is going to be the break of structure. And Elliott wave theory, the initial break of structure typically occurs and targets wave 4 of the previous trend. I think this was wave 4, and this is going to be the target. So I'm expecting Bitcoin in the immediate short term to reach around 100 or a little over 100, about 101. Okay, and another thing I'll say about this is I think this is in the direction of liquidity. I think this is in the direction of the general markets. I'm sure if I looked at the dollar, the US dollar currency index is starting to go up. And so I think this is really the direction of the liquidity. I'm expecting downwards price action within the traditional market trading time frames. So, during the week, and conversely, during the weekend, I'm expecting counter to that. So I'll get into that more in a second. In any case, this A wave, I'm expecting, now we're Wednesday evening, Thursday, Friday, I'm expecting this A wave to complete, right, during Thursday, Friday. So basically the end of the week. And again, the target is going to be, the bottom is around 100K. All right, find some temporary support there. Then on the weekend, and it's a long weekend, I believe, Memorial Day weekend in the US. So I believe that the traditional stock market is closed on Monday. I think we have 3 days to go up here correctively. And what you're going to see in that modest move up, okay? And look, we can have one of two things. It can be the B wave that comes up here, or we can make an even higher move to even more all-time highs, which you typically see in Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's typically strong even at tops, because people believe in it so much. But at the end of the day, what I'm seeing on the smaller time frame is a bearish reversal pattern, again, a rounded top in some way, shape, or form, forming right here. And I think this is the head. And so I think you form the right shoulder on the weekend. Okay, that's what I'm seeing for Bitcoin, and that's my time frame. And another reason why I like this read is because, one, your pivot doesn't take all that long, right? It's been 180 plus days. The pivot's typically expeditious, relatively speaking. Two, the 26th, which is Monday, represents a new moon, and we know statistically new moons represent local market tops. So I would not be surprised if Monday, Tuesday, right, when trading starts back up, the dollar starts providing liquidity to all markets, we get that move down sometime Tuesday. Okay, so this is what I'm seeing in Bitcoin. That's why I'm seeing it. Again, last thing I'll say is this. I know I've talked about, my first targets and all that stuff. Don't be surprised if we don't really respect. I mean, we're going to go impulsively, and we're going to do wave one, wave two. It's going to breathe. Nothing goes in a straight line, but it may look like a straight line. Reason being is a lot of people are under the impression that Bitcoin's going to the moon and nothing's stopping it. And, you can't be rational in an irrational market. And, fading this given the liquidity. I don't know, people think there's liquidity in the markets, and basically a lot of people are betting long at the top. A lot of people are longing the top. A lot of people are investing at the top. A lot of people are buying at the top. A lot of people are going to have liquidations, stop losses all the way down. So don't be surprised if you see this move happen much faster than usual, given the futures markets. There's going to be a lot of liquidations on the way down, which means a cascade of liquidations, which means this move can be that much faster than even natural. And for that reason as well, I'm more sold on the idea that altcoins that are on support must treat this weekend as the final opportunity for them to move off of support and out of the way, so that they can move and make higher lows when Bitcoin's making this move down. So this is what I'm seeing with Bitcoin. That's why I'm seeing it. Again, that's my best guess at timing. And timing the market's always tough, but I try. I'm not shy. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I try. Now, altcoins. Before we go to altcoins, I want to show you something. I had a thought, and I think the crypto market can be summarized with what I'm about to say. There are two things going on, and assets are in either one or the other phase. Okay, I'm gonna share this, and again, I think most assets are behaving like this. Don't say I'm saying all assets, right? Do your own research and take everything case by case basis. But let me show you this. I want to show you this anyway. So my thought is this: Bitcoin has, for the past 2 years, been breaking out of this massive inverse head and shoulders, multi-year inverse head and shoulders bullish reversal pattern, breaking out, and eventually it's gonna come back. I don't like that target 64. I think we go to 60, but anyway, come back, retest this neckline right here to start the bull market in Bitcoin. Okay, so Bitcoin's in the phase of having broken out, but this is still a corrective pattern, right? Remember, corrective patterns happen in flavors of 3. So you get A, B, C. Okay, so you're an A, B, C away from the bull market, and you're in the B wave, and the B wave's about to complete itself with that retest of the neckline. Okay, so Bitcoin is in the phase of having broken out on a really high time frame, broken out of its massive bullish reversal pattern. Likewise, something like Ethereum is also, but on the smaller time frame, in a phase of having broken out. Ethereum's a bit different, right? Not multi-year, but you're talking 80 days, right? Here you're talking 80 days, a falling wedge. I can do better than that. Let's take our time here and put this in. Okay. So for Ethereum, you're looking at a falling wedge, classical bullish pattern, breaking out. And I think you hit the target here. I think you hit the target here. Okay. I think this is the top right here. And boom, that's your breakout. That's your top. So Bitcoin and Ethereum are in the breakout phases, and all they need to do, retest. So for Ethereum's retest, maybe you come back down here. I had it down here. I'm re-questioning now my previous target around 14K, but it's okay. I'm keen on this level right here, 1880. Clients, don't worry. I'm going to update the charts before we get there. So don't worry. Just don't worry. But for Ethereum, in any case, we're in that phase of having broken out and needing to retest. Okay. But so my idea is this: either you've already broken out of your high time frame consolidation and you're just waiting to retest before actually going impulsive, or you have yet to break out. Example, let's look at Cardano, because I talked about Cardano earlier. Okay, Cardano yet to break out. Okay, you have here, you have yet to break out. You have yet to break out. Okay, so either you have already broken out or you have yet to break out. If you have yet to break out, well, guess what? Before Bitcoin and Ethereum start dumping, you have to catch up. This is why I'm saying altcoins have to catch up. And any altcoin that has yet to break out is likely going to do so between the time that between now and Bitcoin's eventual dump or Ethereum's eventual dump. So the time frame is very small. So this is imminent, right? You can see that throughout. So, I mean, do your own research, but that's my theory. Either you have yet to break out or you have already broken out and you're waiting for a retest and you're basically just playing around, dilly-dallying, consolidating at the highs. Okay? Now, if that's true, we should see it reflected in Bitcoin dominance. And I showed you this chart in the last episode. I said this: I'm going to bet that Bitcoin dominance comes to this pink box and finds resistance. And I said this pink box is strategically situated in the golden pocket of this trend right here. Okay? And I said I like that read, and Bitcoin dominance can come up, but once it gets here, it's going to find some resistance, and if it does, we're going to see a bit of a consolidation, and that's the beginning of alt season. And what happened? Well, Bitcoin dominance hit our pink box and started consolidating. So this looks to me, based off of, and people say, like, people act like I make 5-minute videos and say buy the fucking dip and stop being pussies and sign off. Like, I actually like a lot of the comments. I love the passion with which you guys are debating or questioning and stuff like that. But, like, come on, man. If you're not watching the video, just stop. If you're not watching the video, stop. Like, I go over it. I make 30-minute videos sometimes because I have to explain this stuff. And if I'm saying alt season, I'll substantiate it. And this is one of the really good pieces of evidence when you're looking at this Bitcoin dominance chart on a high time frame, and then now the smaller time frames, 4 hourly time frame. The rejection from this level not only represents a rejection of the golden pocket of this trend, but on the higher time frame, you're looking at a rejection, or a retest rather, of this rising wedge. You know, a rising wedge that's lasted 2+ years. That's a big deal, right? This was the breakdown. This is the retest. That's it. So that's what I'm seeing. That's exciting. That's imminent. This tells us that what I'm saying about the altcoins is likely happening. Based off this Bitcoin dominance chart, which, if you understand it, is basically saying that Bitcoin or altcoins are about to gain against Bitcoin in market dominance. And the only way that happens is if altcoins pop. So I don't want to make the video too long. That's pretty much it. That's what I'm seeing. Again, I like this weekend. I gave you my short-term analysis for Bitcoin, what I think it's going to do, why I think it's going to do it, when I think it's going to happen. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But, you know, that's my best guess. That's my best guess at timing the market and kind of situating price. So, guys, I hope this was helpful. I hope this was useful. Like, share, and subscribe. If you got value, consider tipping me by Venmo, Cash App, sending me Litecoin. And if you want one-on-one consultation through the Crypto Portfolio Mentorship and Consultation Service, you can sign up for that as well at the pinned comment below with the Buy Me a Coffee link, where we go through up to 5 different assets, altcoins, that are likely to moon in the coming bull run. And we give targets for buying and selling on a month-to-month basis, and you can go one-on-one with me up to 2 hours every month. So all that information is at the pinned comment below. Guys, take care. I hope we pump this weekend for most altcoins that are on support, that are in scenario scenario 2. They have yet to break out. And I hope we make a lot of money. Long overdue. Alright, take care. Bye.
Without me, arrived at the fork in the road, could turn back, repeat the same story, or march forward and embrace change and reflect upon his glory. I'm a selfish man, therein lies the whole problem. Torn between my actions and the will of my heart. I had to take it all apart to see where I stood as a man, to depart from this world and leave it in his hands. Come on. Looks like I'm heading for the gold, y'all. Touring on a pothole road, y'all. I get it even if I didn't fit in, winning right up to the end, like I didn't even know, y'all. I have Pop's genetics, working hard never to get it, like shit I better than letting life get the best of my efforts. Instead I dedicated to bettering my steps, measuring investments, watch me do it to the death, y'all.